Hello, I'm Toycat, and welcome back to the video. Today I have something really fun but a little bit insane to share with you all, because I'm going to be working out exactly how long it takes to destroy an entire Minecraft console-sized Nether. So this is something that's come up because I made a couple of videos talking about how long it takes to destroy an entire Minecraft console-sized overworld, and indeed a Minecraft PC-sized world. Those numbers are really crazy and the calculations are crazy. You might want to check them out if you haven't already, and basically they both come across as really insanely impossible projects. Even with a Minecraft console-sized world, it still takes years to destroy the entire thing. With a Minecraft PC-sized world, it's just laughable how giant the number is, and yeah, as a result of this being next to impossible, people who like the idea of destroying the entirety of something had to then question how long it would take to destroy an entire Minecraft console-sized Nether. The thing about this is because it only goes to 142 blocks in each direction, on a classic-sized world that is, that means that the Nether is just 285 by 285 blocks, which is pretty small. There's not that many blocks in the Nether, and therefore it might be one of those insane projects which is actually achievable, right? Well, that's what I'm going to be answering in today's video. Hopefully you all do enjoy it. If you do, please do like the video and let me know, because it helps out the channel a lot and lets me know you do like these insane projects / these crazy calculation videos. Oh, that's like alliteration right there. But yeah, these crazy calculation videos do take a long time to calculate and stuff, so I'd very much appreciate a like and whatnot. And with that just said, let's get it all out of the way and get straight into the video. So let's start by talking about exactly what we're going to be working at. One of the most important things in, like working something out is knowing what you're calculating. If we just throw, random numbers in a calculator, like, oh, what's 2 billion times 26? Oh, that's how long it takes. But no, we need to work out exactly what we're going to be working out before we can even do the crazy maths, because there isn't quite as much information on a Nether chunk. So yeah, we need to work out what we're working out, and what I'm going to be doing is working out how long it would take to destroy every single block in the Nether, besides two types using both diamond tools, so just a regular diamond tool, whether it's a diamond shovel or a diamond pickaxe, and then also with an efficiency 5 diamond tool, whether it's a diamond pickaxe or it's a diamond shovel. The reason I'm doing the efficiency 5 is because if you're destroying your entire Nether, you probably have a lot of XP if you don't want to reset it and get Nether quartz over and over again, which means you can probably afford to get efficiency 5 tools and just re-repair them over and over again. And if that is the case, then you might want to know how much it is with efficiency 5, because the Nether in particular is a lot better affected by efficiency 5 than the overworld, and I'll explain why that is later. But for now, we just need to know that basically we're going to be working out with both those things. But what are we going to be working out with both those tools? So every single part of the Nether will be destroyed, minus the lava, because you can't officially destroy lava in the Nether like in the overworld, where you can you can place your water down, you can turn it into stone, and you can mine it that way. The thing about the Nether is you can't quite as easily do it that way. You can't just turn this into obsidian, you can't place water here, and as a result, the only way to get rid of lava is to have a bunch of buckets, fill all the buckets up, take them back to the overworld, put the lava somewhere maybe, and then come back, refill them, do the exact same thing. And as you can see, the size of these lakes means that's not only just a ridiculously long task, but it's also next to impossible to calculate. Like, how long would that take you? It depends on how you do it, and it's not really a proper calculation. So instead, I wanted to focus on everything else in the Nether, and be focusing on how long it takes to destroy all the other blocks, with just one more exception, which is the Nether Fortress. Because the Nether Fortress is an indeterminable amount of size. It could take 3 to 4 hours, it could take 4 to 5 hours. Realistically, compared to the rest of it, it's worth doing regardless. But in case, you do want to keep your Nether here, or in case you want to keep the skeleton spawning, whatever the case is, I'm going to assume you don't want to destroy your Nether Fortress, but if you do, just add 3 or 4 hours to the totals, and it's not a great percentage of the overall thing, so just keep that in mind. So we're focusing on every other block in the Nether being destroyed, so besides these lava pits, besides these, Nether Fortresses, the single Nether Fortress I should say, every single thing in the Nether will be gone and destroyed and all that sort of stuff. Because, yeah, basically what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be working out how long it takes to take every other single block in the Nether and turn it into air. So we could see every single block in that direction, every single block into that direction, and so on and so forth, using diamonds and efficiency 5 tools. So, yeah, that's the kind of hypothesis we're going with. And now we need to start on the calculations. And the very first thing we needed to know is exactly how many blocks could exist in the Nether. Because to even start to calculate how many blocks are in the Nether, you need to work out how many spaces there are for blocks in the Nether, and therefore we need to know the exact size, which, like I mentioned, was 285 by 285 by, if we go all the way up, 128, I believe, because even though the height limit is 256, there is a big bedrock layer at 127, which you cannot legitimately get past, and there's nothing above there anyway, so it counts as a straight above that, and that means the official size of the Nether is 128 by 285 by 285. However, if you look at the last few layers as you go up, or if you look at the last few layers as you go to one of the sides, like here you can see, the last couple of blocks are never really usable. There's just bedrock in the way, and it's not mineable in survival. Blocks don't really go there, and they don't really matter if they're there anyway. So for the most part, we're going to be working out how many blocks could exist outside of those bedrock layers, which is 2 blocks for each direction, or 281 by 281 by 124, because it's also true when you go down to the bottom of that. And therefore, yeah, we're going to be working out that number calculation, which if you do type that into a calculator, you can test this for yourself if you want to, of anything I do today, you'll get the number 9,791,164. That's how many blocks could exist in the Nether in Minecraft on the console. So, yeah, that sounds really intimidating, but in comparison to how many blocks are in the overworld, or just in comparison to how many blocks are in any PC size thing, it's actually pretty climbable. Like, 9 million blocks is something that's pretty realistic. I mean, again, it's something you could do, at least to me, it's like, oh yeah, that's possible. But then you gotta bear in mind, not even all of those blocks are blocks, because although, you know, every single block does exist in those space, a lot of those are air blocks, and air blocks technically count as destroyed, because, you know, even though we're flying through lots of blocks right now, no one counts these as blocks. People count these as destroyed blocks. So, yeah, now we need to work out how many of these blocks we do need to actually destroy, and that are actually, like, physical and in existence, and that is a little bit harder because there's no exact statistic on how much of the Nether is blocks and how much is air. However, to do my own, you know, rough calculation, because this is an estimate, it's a pretty accurate estimate, but, you know, it's still going to be estimate based on stuff, I decided to work out how much of the Nether is blocks and how much is air. And to do this, I decided to just fly around and get a feel for the Nether and then look at some stuff. And as you can see, when you look around the Nether, if you inverted it, this is a point I think I learned from the wiki actually, if you invert the Nether, it still looks like it's a normal Nether, because every time there's a massive chunk of land like this, there's an equivalently sized massive chunk of air. Look how much air there is here with just no blocks in it. For every, you know, one of these little chunks of air, you know, blocks just flung in the air, there's a random cave inside the netherrack. And as a result of this thing, you can kind of see how in these layers, where there is, you know, just the air followed by land, followed, you know, massive chunks of both, you can roughly work out that 50% of these blocks are going to be netherrack and 50% are going to be air. And you can do that because if you invert it, you get another person's Nether. And hopefully that does make sense to all of you. If it doesn't, just roughly 50% is the number we're going with. But that's not true for all of the Nether, because once you get below Y33, where the lava lakes happen, it's just going to be entirely, you know, blocks of some form or other. There's no giant pockets of air where you can fly around and stuff. There's no pockets of air where you can have caves, for the most part. And that means we're going to assume that this is just 100% blocks. You know, once you account that with some of the ceiling too, that means that we're going to assume that roughly 1/4 of the world is 100% blocks, and the other 75% is going to be 50% blocks, which gives us the number 62% of blocks in the Nether actually exist as real blocks, and the other 38% is air. And again, that's only a rough number, but as I went around and I did the rough calculations per chunk, it did seem to stand up for the most part. And since it's pretty close to accurate, you know, it might be 60% in some worlds, it might be 64%, and it might even be as terrible as like 51% or something like that. For the most part, that's as close as we can get. It's an average, and it's a rough calculation. So yeah, with that said, 62% of blocks are something destroyable, but now we know that there is, because if you work that out, that means there's with that said, that means there's 6,070,521 blocks that do exist in the Nether that you do need to destroy, but now we need to work out how long it takes to destroy those. So yeah, 6 million blocks, again, a really climbable number. That means that you'd need, what would it be? I guess that'd be the equivalent of about 4,000 pickaxes, but still, 4,000 pickaxes sounds like a lot, but for the most part, if you're repairing them to some extent or something, it's not really too crazy. Again, you will keep putting these in the context of like, oh, it's not actually that crazy intense, and yeah, with that said, 6 million blocks doesn't sound too crazy to me, but we do need to work out how long it takes to mine them, and because we're doing it with 2 different separate tools, that means we need to work out exactly what they're going to be. So there are 5 separate blocks we need to kind of calculate. The first is netherrack. Netherrack is the bulk of it, so we'll just assume everything minus everything else is netherrack. And also soul sand, because soul sand and netherrack take the exact same time to mine. Netherrack takes 0.1 seconds of a diamond pickaxe, and soul sand takes 0.1 seconds of a diamond shovel. So taking these two statistics together, we can just work out that everything that's not one of the other 3 blocks is either netherrack and either soul sand, and therefore takes 0.1 seconds. It's kind of handy that we can do that, because the other ones are glowstone, are gravel, and are nether quartz. So nether quartz, we know the exact number per chunk on average. There's 79 nether quartz per chunk on average, which means because there's 316 roughly, it doesn't exactly work out, because the nether's scaled on the overworld, so it doesn't actually have an exact number of chunks. But yeah, again, roughly the number of chunks that you have is 316, and 316 by 79 gives you the number 24,964 nether quartz ore in the entirety of a console-sized nether. So yeah, this is actually the one that takes the longest. It takes 0.6 seconds to mine the diamond shovel, which is actually quite a bit of time if you think about it. But there's only 25,000 of it compared to the 6 million of everything else. It's actually, you know, a really tiny percent of the overall thing. It's something like it's not even 0.5%. It's like 0.4%. You know, it's kind of small, but it's still worth calculating because they do take 6 times as long. So yeah, with that said, now we need to work out how much gravel and how much glowstone there are per chunk. These ones are a little bit harder to get exact numbers for, because if you look at, you know, the gravel, again, there's no exact figures for it. If you look at the glowstone, there's no exact figures. Then what, I meant like look it up, not look at it, because I looked at it as I did that, but sorry, it's a little thing I did that. This is actually, you know, I'm doing this live as I've got the stuff, so hopefully you can appreciate that. But with that said, yeah, let's talk about, how much gravel there actually is in a world, and the number of gravel there is per world is kind of tricky to work out, because the per chunk values massively vary. You know, some chunks you'll have something like 40 to 80, some chunks you'll have literally none. You know, there's no gravel in this chunk over here, no gravel in this chunk over here, but then you look over here and there's gravel, there's gravel, there's gravel. And that makes things really, really tricky, right? However, you know, what I decided to work out is roughly 20 gravel per chunk, because you get it in big veins of 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 or something like that, but it's not on every single chunk, so about 20 seems accurate here. So, yeah, if we're going to work out 20 gravel per chunk, that means in the entire of your Minecraft console world, there's going to be 6,320 gravel in your world. So next up we're going to talk about glowstone. Glowstone's a little bit more frequent than gravel because it appears in these kind of fruity veins. I worked out that an average vein is roughly 24, again just from a few kind of veins checking, and since this is just averages, that's all we kind of need. And since there's roughly one of these per chunk, you can see there's one over here, there's just a couple of blocks on the floor there, but yeah, there's roughly one glowstone vein per chunk. Some of these are massive and clearly more than 24, some of these are 24 almost exactly, and some of these are massively less. However, again, just to calculate all of that as an average, 24 glowstone per chunk means we're going to have roughly, in our Minecraft console-sized world, 7,584 glowstone per chunk, and that's going to take 0.45 seconds. There's actually no correct tool to mine glowstone with, just as a fun little fact while we're here. If you use your fist, it takes the exact same amount of time as any other tool, and that's just, again, it's a small thing here, but 0.45 seconds, it's the second longest thing to break, because gravel's 0.15 seconds. So, yeah, now we know exactly how much of each block there is per world. We know there's 7,584 glowstone, we know there's 6,320 gravel, again, roughly on average, and then we also know that there's 24,964 nether quartz ore, and that means that every other single one of those blocks has to be nether quartz, has to be netherrack, or it has to be soul sand, and therefore it takes the same amount of time, and therefore it's just the soul sand / netherrack category. It just doesn't matter which it is. We could work it out, but since they work out the same, we just don't need to. You know, mathematically, sometimes you don't need to do stuff, and this is one of those cases. So now we know the exact composition of the nether by the time it takes to actually break down. We can work out how much, you know, we can multiply those numbers by how long it takes to mine the block with the correct tool. This is assuming you do it one after another, so you like this. If you were to mine at the optimal speed, it would take 0.1 seconds per block to mine the giant bulk of that, 6 million blocks. The 6,031,000, 6,031,000, netherrack or soul sand blocks. Again, working that out because we took away everything else from there, and that's the bulk of the time, as you can see on screen. That's how long it takes. Pretty big number. Then you got to work out how long it takes to destroy the nether quartz. Again, reasonable amount of time, takes about 14,900 seconds because it's 0.6 per block. Then you work out how much it takes to destroy the gravel, which is just 948 seconds. That's right, all of the gravel in a nether, if it was together, if you took all the gravel and put it in one place, would only take, 948 seconds, which is about 15 minutes to mine. And the reason for that is because there just isn't too much of it, and it's really fast for diamond shovel. Again, that's excluding the block delay time, which we'll get into later, but, we'll get to that when we get to that. And then there's also the glowstone, which takes 0.45 seconds. There's 7,500, so it takes about 3,412 seconds to mine all of that in your world. So, with that, now, all of those numbers said, we add those up, and now we know exactly how long it takes to destroy every single block in your Minecraft world. Sort of. So it doesn't. So even though we got the exact number of figures, there's a big number on screen right now. We have that exact number. I can't even work out where you put the commas. You have that massive number of seconds. As how long it takes to destroy your nether. However, this takes one thing out of account, and that's the block delay. So every single time you mine a block, there's a 0.25 second delay until you can mine the next block, unless you have unless you can mine the block in less than a 20th of a second. So the only way you can mine all of the blocks in less than 20th of a second is to use an efficiency 5 tool, which means we add that delay to one number and we don't add it to the other. So first of all, let's work out the efficiency 5 number, because all we have to do is add 371% speed to the this number we have here without adding the block delay. And if we do that, we get the number which is roughly this number you'll see on screen right here. Again, I don't have it. What I do have it in is hours. So if you have an efficiency 5 pickaxe, it just takes, I do have it 186,000 seconds or 51 hours. So if you have an efficiency 5 tool, it just takes 51 hours to destroy the entire nether. And I did not believe this number, because if you look at the vastness of this thing, and then you imagine trying to mine this, you can just not see this being done in only 50 hours, which 50 hours is a long time, but still, you look around this entire thing, and it's just like, no, that's not happening. But then I actually made an efficiency 5 pickaxe, and I decided to prove this point to you. So, yeah, in case you don't believe that block delay thing, here you can see, even though this should take 0.1 seconds, it takes a long time between blocks to switch from one netherrack to the next one. Like, the time to mine netherrack is really small, the time to switch from netherrack to netherrack actually isn't. However, we also have an efficiency 5 pickaxe here, and here you can see one of the most insane things I've ever tested in Minecraft, because here's how fast you can mine blocks using the efficiency 5 pickaxe. It is so insanely fast. And because you're getting 371% speed, plus you're not getting the delay on that, it's just ridiculous. Like, if you look at how fast the pickaxe is going down, this is a diamond pickaxe right here. It has 1500 durability, and we're just, we're entirely, wrecking this thing. I used this for about a minute before, and I managed to do that thing I did before, and just like that, you can see the pickaxe has gone from, about a third of the durability left to pretty much dead in that time. And that proves my point here, that efficiency is so fast, and that 50 hours is actually pretty darn possible. So, yeah, how do you destroy the Nether in Minecraft within a reasonable amount of time? You have to use an efficiency 5 tool, and it's crazy that that's the case and that you can do that, but it's a thing that you can do. So anyway, yeah, with that said, 51 hours to destroy a classic size Nether. What about if you were to use a regular diamond tool, not an efficiency 5 shovel, not an efficiency 5 pickaxe, because you just don't have the XP to repair it that frequently. Like, you've got to think, you saw how fast I broke that thing, even with unbreaking on there too, because that gives you 4 times the uses, it's still going to break really, really fast. I mean, that would be 1,000 repairs to destroy the entire Nether. How, if you just can't think about that, and you'd rather just brute force it with diamonds, how long would it take to destroy it by hand by doing this for the entire Nether with a regular pickaxe and a regular shovel? So this means that we add the block delay in there. The block delay is actually the bulk of the time, 0.25 seconds by that entire thing. Gives you a very, very big number, but it means that the number of hours it will take to destroy an entire Minecraft console size Nether is just 2,140,134 seconds, which in hours is 594 hours, which honestly isn't actually that long either. So again, I'm trying to say that wasting will that be in weeks? Trying to say that wasting 3 to 4 weeks of your life isn't a long time is kind of weird, but given that that's something you could do, if you just play for like 6 hours a day, let's say, in 4 months you could destroy your entire Nether, and that's without using any efficiency tools, whatever. If you did it with all of that stuff in just 3 days, if you're really, really going at it, you can do it, and that's why I think it's one of the more achievable projects in Minecraft. Admittedly, you do want to reset your Nether sometimes. There'll be some reasons to do it in the future, but the fact that you can destroy this entire thing and leave it being just a void of lava pits, your Nether fortress, and air is so cool to me. And yeah, that's kind of that right there. So yeah, how long does it take? Is the insane project to destroying your Nether possible? Yes it is, and I'd love to see someone try. Someone is at some point, and I'm going to enjoy it. And yeah, if you do try this, let me know in the comments down below. I'd be very curious. But before we move on to ending the video, one thing I did want to work out, because I was curious, is like, okay then, what if you had a large size Minecraft console world? Because a lot of people who do play Minecraft console, I mean, most people use Classic because they're either forced to on the Wii U, 360, PS3 or Vita. But a lot of people play the Xbox One, PS4, and therefore have the large size world. So if you have a large size Nether, I did actually, maximize my Nether and give it a quick check. If you do have a large size Nether, you thought your Nether size, because it is scaled a little bit differently, it's not, I think it's 36 times as big, it'd be the Overworld, but it's not 36 times as big, because it scales down to 1.8 times 1.8, which means that your actual Nether size is 637 by 637 by 128. But if you take out the last 2 blocks that we did there, it's 633 by 633 by 124. That means it's 49,685,000 blocks, or to just, make this a lot easier and besides doing the entire thing again, we can just work out that's 5.07 times bigger than a regular sized Nether. And since everything scales up the same way, that means it would only take 258 hours with efficiency 5 tools, or 3,014 hours of no efficiency 5 tools. Or, to put that in perspective, about 2 years of doing the whole, doing the, 6 hours a day, just doing it all day, every day. Or, if you did it efficiency 5 and you really grounded it and you just made it your task, you could do that in about, 10 days or so, or just over 10 days, 10 and a half days, I believe, or if you include sleep time, 2 weeks. And that's pretty crazy to me, the fact that an entire large size Nether can be destroyed in 2 weeks. And what I'm really saying here is, your challenge, internet. So, yeah, with that said, I hope you did all enjoy today's video. Like I said, the calculations were a bit crazy, but to me, this is the sort of thing I do think it's rather fun. But yeah, if you want to see more of these videos, I'd very much appreciate a like, because that's the sort of thing that gets the video out to more people. If you don't know, at this point on YouTube, the only real ways to help a video out in some way, or help a channel out, is really to, either interact with the video in some way that shows YouTube you liked it, so it recommends more of that stuff in some way, and recommends it to other people that it sees like like you, or to do something like share it with someone else and then it has that same effect on them. There's not really the same kind of thing where it's like, there's if you do this crazy stuff, it happens. But if you want to do any of that magic crazy stuff, you can. Otherwise, there are some other videos that you might want to check out, including the other calculation videos, in case you like this sort of thing. I didn't even realize till just now that the video is nearly 20 minutes, so hopefully you were able to put up with me talking about something I was kind of passionate about. If you were, then I guess you will see the outro, and there will be words there. So thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.